Today on Techno Trend Zone, we are getting an exclusive early look at the iPhone 18 Pro and Apple's very first foldable phone, the iPhone Ultra. And the best part is that I have actually held both of these in my hands. So if you want to know exactly where Apple is headed in 2026, stay right here because this video is going to change the way you think about iPhones forever. Now let me be upfront about something important. These devices are not real working phones, they do not turn on, there are no electronics inside. What I got my hands on are design mock-ups that Apple creates mainly for case manufacturers so they can start building cases before the real phones are finished. But here is the thing, these mock-ups are extremely accurate in terms of dimensions, shape, and design, so they give us a genuinely reliable look at what Apple is planning. And Apple is planning a lot. Let us start with the iPhone 18 Pro. This is a refinement year for Apple, no dramatic redesign, no completely new look, but there are meaningful improvements across the board and honestly there is plenty to get excited about. The very first thing you will notice is the colors. Apple has gone bold this year in a way that feels truly fresh. For the very first time ever, the iPhone Pro line is getting a proper red. Apple is calling it dark cherry. And this is not the bright product red you have seen on budget iPhones before. This is a deep, rich, dark shade of red that looks incredibly premium on a Pro device. Personally, I think this might be the best color Apple has ever put on an iPhone. It is that good. Right behind dark cherry is the new sky blue. It is light, airy, and clean. It immediately reminded me of the light blue from the iPhone 13 Pro series, which so many people absolutely loved. If you were a fan of that color back then, sky blue on the 18 Pro is going to feel like a welcome return. Apple is also bringing back black this year under the name dark gray. This matters because the iPhone 17 Pro did not have a black option at all, and people were genuinely frustrated about that. Apple listened, and they are fixing it this year. White is also sticking around because white simply works with everything and always will. One small but practical detail I noticed is that the dimensions of the iPhone 18 Pro are basically identical to the iPhone 17 Pro. I tried putting some cases from last year on the mock-up and they fit perfectly. This means if you are upgrading from a 17 Pro, you might not need to buy a new case at all. It is a small thing, but it is genuinely useful and people will appreciate it. Looking at the front of the phone, the most noticeable visual change is the dynamic island. Apple is shrinking it by 35% this year. When you see it, the phone immediately looks more modern and cleaner. There are also strong rumors that Apple is planning a full user interface redesign connected to the new Siri experience. That smaller dynamic island is going to be a big part of making that new look feel intentional and polished. On the camera side, the selfie camera is jumping from 18 megapixels to 24 megapixels. Your front-facing photos and video calls are going to look noticeably better, and the rear camera system is getting a major upgrade too. You can see on the mock-up that the camera bump is larger than last year. The reason for that is a variable aperture lens on the main camera. This is technology that has existed in professional cameras for decades, but has never been implemented in a mainstream smartphone the way Apple is doing it here. Variable aperture means the camera can physically adjust how much light reaches the sensor. It gives you real control over depth of field and low light performance. This is Apple taking the iPhone camera from great to genuinely professional quality. Inside the phone, you're also getting the new A20 Pro chip built on a 2nm process, a physically larger battery, and Apple's own in-house cellular modem at the Pro level for the very first time. These are things you cannot see on a mock-up, but they will make a real difference every single day. The iPhone 18 Pro is shaping up to be a strong upgrade even in a quiet year. But Apple seems to be intentionally keeping attention focused on something far bigger. Something that has never existed before, and that brings us to the iPhone Ultra. This is Apple's first ever foldable phone, and everything about it feels like Apple has been building toward this moment for years. When the phone is closed, you are greeted with a 5.5-inch outer display. Bezels are thin, there is a front-facing camera, and you can handle quick tasks without ever opening the phone. But here is something immediately striking. There is no Face ID hardware anywhere on the front, because the iPhone Ultra is not going to use Face ID. After nearly a decade of Apple training us to unlock our phones with our faces, the Ultra is going back to Touch ID. The fingerprint scanner is built directly into the power button on the right side. Apple already uses this on the iPad mini, so the technology is proven and reliable. But it is still going to feel like an adjustment after so many years of just looking at your phone to unlock it. Just below the power button is a dedicated camera control button, so you can quickly launch the camera with one hand even when the phone is closed. Volume buttons are positioned at the top of the device. Again, mirroring the layout of the iPad mini, Apple is being very consistent and intentional across their product lineup here. Now open the phone and everything changes. You are met with a massive 7.8-inch inner display. It is stunning, and it looks almost exactly like an iPad mini. I actually placed the iPhone Ultra mock-up directly on top of my iPad mini and the displays were nearly identical in size. That is because Apple chose a 3:4 aspect ratio for the inner screen, which is the same ratio iPads use. This is a very deliberate choice. iPad apps will feel completely natural here. You will have enough room to run two apps side by side for the very first time on an iPhone. The whole unfolded experience feels much closer to using a small iPad than stretching a regular iPhone. There is a crease visible in the middle of the mock-up display, but please do not judge the final product by this. This is a cheap design model. The actual flexible display Apple ships will be manufactured to a completely different standard. Multiple credible sources say Apple has significantly minimized or solved the crease issue on the real device. There is also a small raised lip around the edges of the inner display, which is there to protect the delicate screen. It slightly affects how premium the device feels in hand, but it is a practical necessity with foldable technology. Now let us talk about the cameras because this is where I have a real concern. The iPhone Ultra, despite being Apple's most expensive phone ever, comes with only two rear cameras. A 48 megapixel wide and a 48 megapixel ultra wide, no telephoto, no optical zoom. This is literally the same camera setup found on the base iPhone models. And this phone is going to cost at least $2,000. If you are upgrading from an iPhone Pro, you are actually losing a camera while paying significantly more money. That is a tough sell. I believe the telephoto lens will come with the second generation Ultra, but for now it is a genuine compromise that Apple needs to own. One final design detail that caught my attention is the honeycomb microphone grill sitting next to the cameras on the back. It looked extremely familiar and then it hit me. It looks exactly like the speaker grill on the Apple Watch Ultra, and that is no coincidence. Because this phone will not be called the iPhone Fold when Apple releases it, it will be called the iPhone Ultra. Apple does not want you thinking of this as just another foldable like what Android brands have been making. They want you to see this as the absolute peak of what an iPhone can be. Their most ambitious, most premium, most powerful device ever created.